All right, we're rounding off our frank talk with Zolani Mkiva. Just round off this part quickly. So, absolutely nothing that sowed division.
No.
Because there are people, whether it be the EFF or some in the ANC, even a Kalima Mutlante report that said, dissolve this Ngoyama thing is not real.
Well, it's not going to happen. You can't start there. You need to first deal with the 87% of the land, which is in the hands of our erstwhile colonizers. Deal with that. The majority of South African land is in the hands of the minority, which are people of European origin. It's an embarrassing situation. Deal with that. It's a political issue. It's a political question. Resolve it. Restore the land to its rightful owners. And there's a difference between the land as the landscape and the property on the top structure. Structure. Those are two separate things. So there's normally a confusion about those two. So we are not talking about that. And this land is not a land which is a free for all. We are saying this is the land of Africans. This thing that the land belongs to all who live in it is a fallacy. It's untrue. The South African land belongs to the Africans. And we're not saying to the exclusion of the people who are here. But the ownership of this land, the custodians, are these people that are Africans who are here.
You think there is an appetite to literally go to war over the land issue? Or you think that we're just bluffing, that in fact there's expropriation without compensation, there isn't enough political courage to do it?
Well, our leaders would have made a blunder if they would think that the issue of land will die down. Our children will take up arms if we don't resolve this in an amicable fashion. We, as Contralesa, we are calling for a responsible and a legal way of resolving the land question and prevent an unforeseen circumstances which may occur. We must not postpone the land question. It is very key. We need to deal with it in our lifetime. Otherwise, history will judge us in a very, very harsh way.
Absolutely. And that's certainly a way in which we can pay tribute to King Sikau. Let's take a look at what Sipha Kema had to say, putting together a package there for us, marking this development of the passing away of King Sikau.
A peaceful man who was passionate about rural development, the king was known to speak his mind. This is how those close to King Sikau describe the AmaXhosa leader. He ascended to the throne on 1 January 2006 and was officially crowned King of AmaXhosa Nation on May 15, 2015. The lavish coronation was attended by many prestigious guests, such as then-President Jacob Zuma and members of the cabinet. The AmaXhosa royal family have begun the traditional royal proceedings ahead of the monarch's burial.
Tomorrow we will have meetings with the government together with the traditional leaders. We are also planning memorial services. The memorial service for Gauteng has been confirmed and it's taking place on the 21st of this month at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it will be held at Market Theatre in Johannesburg. On the 23rd, there's a memorial service taking place in Bulawayo, and then the 25th, there's a memorial service taking place in Gaborone. For Cape Town and Bloemfontein, we don't have dates as yet, but we will communicate that as soon as we are ready. We will also have a memorial service in Kofinvaba at Sabalele, where Chris Hani was born. That is where King Sakhili resided. We will also have a memorial service which will be conducted by the Nelson Mandela Museum, and we don't have a date as yet.
Inkosi Phathekile Dilizindaba Holomisa explains the process of KwaXhosa and who takes over if the crown prince is not of age.
Traditionally, what usually happens is that a regent is appointed by the royal family after consultation, of course, with the nation as to who will be a suitable person to act on behalf of the of the young prince. Traditionally, it used to be one of the uncles or even a brother, an elder brother of the young prince, crown prince, who is appointed to that position. It became necessary to look at appointing the queen mother, the mother of the young prince, to serve as regent while the young prince is still growing up. But that did not mean that she would be ruling on her own, just like a man, though, cannot be expected to rule on his own.
The Amaxhosa royal household has elected Nkosi Dumehleli Mapasa as the acting Amaxhosa king following the death of King Mpendulo Zwelonke Sigcawu. For Newsroom Africa, Channel 405, I'm Sipha Kema.
All right. Interesting there. Just in terms of that tradition, it was very interesting there that King Holomisa says, or Deputy Minister Holomisa says that it doesn't mean she will rule on her own like a man. What is that about?
No, he said, JJ, that if it happens that the mother of the crown prince gets appointed to be the regent, she will not rule on her own, just like a man will also not rule on his own.
Is that what he meant? That doesn't sound like that's what he meant.
No, he said it. He said it exactly like I say it. Yeah, it's not the king does not rule by himself.
He's a council.
He's a king in council.
Yeah,
he's a king in council.
Right.
I have worked with as one of the right-hand men of King Zwelonke.
Okay.
And he always consulted.
Yeah.
As broadly as he can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just explain. So where does Dalindyebo fit in? Or is it the two separate kingdoms? Can you just explain quickly?
No. King Dalindyebo is the king of Abatembu.
Abatembu, all right.
Abatembu kingdom. And King Zwelonke is the king of Amaxhosa.
Amaxhosa, okay.
And these kingships are related. There's always been intermarriages between them.
I see.
Which dates back, to hundreds of years.
They pronounce that Amaxhosa must wear the blanket, and I see you're not wearing one. I don't know whether you are defiant.
Well, unfortunately, JJ, the passing of His Majesty happened whilst I was abroad. I've actually landed today.
Okay, and so your blanket is the Eastern Cape.
It is this interview that made me not to proceed to the Eastern Cape. Because the producers appealed that, please, before you proceed,
come here.
Come here. They were aware that I'm landing today.
There are memorial services and so on. Any information you can share with our viewers?
Well, like Prince Kant was saying, there is a spread of memorial services.
Across the country?
Across the country and even in the neighboring states. Why we have elected Zimbabwe?
Why, yes, interesting.
And Botswana is that there are Xhosa communities there.
In Zimbabwe?
Yes. In Zimbabwe, there's more than 25,000 Xhosas who reside in Kwabulawayo alone.
Yeah.
So King Zwelonke, since 2011, has been visiting those communities.
I see.
Without fail. He held the biggest 50th birthday of his in Kwabulawayo, which was attended by thousands of people.
Serious?
So those people actually made a request that they would like to host
a memorial service.
Yes. There's a Xhosa prince who is permanently located there, Prince MacLeod Solengwe Chawe, who is there. He will be hosting that memorial service.
Yeah.
Similarly, in Botswana...
So they are Zimbabweans now. They are Xhosa Zimbabweans.
In terms of citizenship, they are Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
Yes. Similarly, with Botswana is the same. There's a village there of Xhosas that has...
In Botswana?
In Botswana.
Yeah,
they have their own chief Mngqibisa. And coincidentally, 2 months back, we were invited there on their annual cultural day. I went there with Prince Kandis to address their representing His Majesty.
Interesting. True Pan-African king, isn't it?
Yeah. So King Zwelonke was that dynamic leader who really believed in leadership visibility. He even went to Palestine to honor President Mahmoud Abbas and to go and give his support for the liberation of Palestine. And, which was a very, very profound thing for him to have done, King Zwelonke, because he learned from Madiba that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians. He actually repeated those words when he was addressing the people in Palestine. So he was the people's king. And we were quite hopeful that Zolonge was a warrior in the making, actually. And had he had lived to be an elder, he would have been a giant. There's a lot that we expected from him because he was brilliant. He had natural brains and sharp intelligence.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Are you in agreement with what government has pronounced in terms of giving him an official funeral?
It's good that our government gives him an official funeral because it is not just going to be an official funeral. It will be an official royal funeral because we as the family and as a council, we already know that a king has to be given a fitting farewell, which is royal. So when the government adds another feather, then it becomes an official royal
funeral.
In fact, the government has no choice because the kings are recognized by the constitution. And every king who would pass on has to be accorded that. It's not like we were pleading for it. Yes, no, it's catered for. The president has to do that. You know, it's a must.
Man, thank you so much for educating us about these matters, and we wish you well in the work that you're doing. Quite exciting stuff clearly ahead that we can look forward to in terms of the interventions you shared with us that Contralesa is doing. And of course, we will keep an eye on all of the tributes and the commemorations of King Sigcawu going forward to the funeral to be held at the end of this month. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We thank you as well for your support as a media house. I think that the support you are giving us and carrying the information and the message out there, it helps to ensure that this institution of traditional leadership is here to stay. All we need to do is to mainstream it and foreground it so that it plays a developmental role in building a developmental state.
Thank you so much for coming to help us to pay tribute to King Zolonge. And that's how we end it off, that frank talk, by saying, Zolonge.
Zolonge.
Zolonge. Let's take a break now.
Yeah,